Everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine that you've stumbled on, hi, I'm Lamia and I talk about scholarships and opportunities, and sometimes I talk about my own educational path and my career path and all of that. And if any of that resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss any videos. So as you can see from the title, today we will be talking about the Chevening Scholarship, and I'm so excited because this is a scholarship that I am so fond of. I'm really excited for this video. I've been anticipating it for so long, and I thought, you know, it's such an optimum time considering that the applications opened a few days ago at the time of recording this. I'm recording this on Friday the 19th of August. It doesn't feel like a Friday. Anyway, yeah, so the applications for the Chevening Scholarship just opened recently, and it's quite cool because I'm seeing like my entire LinkedIn timeline is just full of people who've just won the scholarship. Love to see it. I absolutely live to see these things. Like, you don't understand how gassed it makes me to see these kind of posts. Like, I live for it. So there will be 5 parts to this video, and I'll try and put some timestamps, so if you want to hop around you can. The first chapter is what is the Chevening Scholarship, then we'll move on to the eligibility, and then I'll run you through the application procedure, and then we'll talk more about the selection criteria. And then lastly, the part I'm most excited for, I will include a clip of a conversation I've had with an actual Chevening scholar. Okay, so right off the bat, what is the Chevening Scholarship? So the Chevening Scholarship is an international scholarship which is funded by the British Foreign and Commonwealth Office, or the FCDO, that allows foreign students to study in the United Kingdom at a university of their choice for up to 1 year. While there isn't an archetypical Chevening scholar, those who are successful tend to be people with ambition, people with leadership abilities, and a passion for influencing change in their home countries. The Chevening Scholarships were established in 1983, and the stated objective of the scheme is to build a network of friends of the UK who will be future leaders in their countries. The scholarship covers full tuition fees, a monthly stipend, an allowance for arrival to the United Kingdom and a homeward departure, travel expenses from and to the UK, cost of candidates' visa application, and travel grants to arrive in the UK for Chevening events. Okay, now that you know what the Chevening Scholarship is, let's talk about the eligibility. First and foremost, you need to be a citizen of a Chevening eligible country or territory. I've left a link to a specific website which lists all of the countries that were Chevening eligible as of 2021. It's worth noting that some scholarships are only available to certain groups of a country. For example, in Australia, only Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island students can apply. Secondly, it is a condition that you return to your home country for a minimum of 2 years after your award has ended. Next, you must have completed all components of an undergraduate degree that will enable you to gain entry into a postgraduate program at a UK university by the time you submit your application. Typically, you need a 2-1 or higher, but it really does depend on which course and university you choose. Next, and possibly the most tricky part about the Chevening Scholarship, you need to have at least 2 years, or the equivalent of 2,800 hours of work experience. Eligible types of work experience include full-time employment, part-time employment, voluntary work, and paid or unpaid internships. And lastly, you need to apply to 3 different eligible UK university courses and have received an unconditional offer from one of these choices by the 13th of July. Again, according to the Chevening website, in order to be eligible, the courses you choose must be full-time. They need to start in the autumn term, usually in September or October. They need to be taught masters as opposed to like research-focused degrees. They must lead to a master's degree qualification, and of course they must be based in the United Kingdom. It's worth noting that having a master's degree does not prevent you from applying for a Chevening Award to study for a second master's degree in the UK, as long as you can clearly explain why it will help you fulfill your career plan to influence positive change in your home country. The Chevening Scholarship application procedure is pretty straightforward. There are 5 parts to the application procedure. Firstly, background information. Secondly, essay questions. Thirdly, application information. Fourthly, terms and conditions. And finally, the submission of your documents. So in the background information section, you're just filling out information about your previous education and professional experience. This is the section where they will actually be calculating your total number of work hours, which I'll remind you needs to be the equivalent of 2,800 working hours or above. And then secondly, the essay question section really is the most integral part of your Chevening Scholarship application. There are usually be 4 essay questions, one on leadership and influence, one on relationship building and shared learning, one on studying in the UK, and one on your career plan. Each of these essays is capped at 500 words. It's also worth noting that at every step of the application process, make sure that you're saving your work, because the last thing you want is to proceed and then somehow like your computer glitches and then you've lost like 300 words of a really good essay that you'll never get back. So make sure you're saving your work, or better yet, make sure that you're submitting your answers into a Word document or something, and then like copy and paste them into the field. In the application information section, you'll be asked more questions about the 3 courses that you've applied to, what the status of your offer is, be it unconditional, conditional, haven't applied yet, etc. It's a really good idea to make sure that you're planning ahead of time, so that by the time that you submit your Chevening Scholarship, you have an unconditional offer for your top choice. It's also a good time to mention that all of your 3 courses, while they don't all have to be at the same institution, they should all be related to one another. So you can't be applying to do something like geography at the University of Leicester, while at the University of Exeter you're planning to study something like classics. All 3 courses of yours need to relate to one another in some way. And then of course in this section you'll also be asked things to do with immigration. You'll be asked if you hold a passport, because of course in order to be selected for the scholarship you will need to take up the scholarship in the United Kingdom. So you will need a passport. This is also the time where they'll ask you for your passport number. You'll also be asked details on your criminal record. And then in the terms and conditions section of the application, you'll be asked questions about attending Chevening events in the UK, because I'll remind you, the purpose of the Chevening Scholarship really is to create long-lasting relationships with future leaders, influencers, and decision makers. And then finally, it'll be time to upload and submit your documents. You'll also be asked a few diversity, equity, and inclusion questions, and also to include your reference letters or the details of your referees. So usually the applications for the Chevening Scholarship open in early August, so the 2nd of August this year, 2022, and the applications close on the 1st of November, and then all the applications are sifted against the eligibility criteria, and in early to mid-February, shortlisted candidates are invited for interviews, and then from February to late April, shortlisted candidates are asked to submit 2 reference letters and education documents. And then from February to April, interviews take place usually at British embassies and high commissions. And then from around June, results start to roll in, and that's currently where we are right now. As I record this video, results are trickling in and people are taking to LinkedIn to share their good news with everybody. And then of course around September, October, Chevening scholars begin their journey in the United Kingdom. But don't take my word for it. Aya is an Egyptian environmental researcher and entrepreneur. She won the Chevening Scholarship for the academic year 2019-2020, and she obtained an MSc in Environment and Development from the University of Leeds in 2020. Hey Aya, thank you so much for joining me, and of course congratulations for winning the Chevening Scholarship. Thank you also for being so gracious with your time, and I just have a few questions for you, nothing too interrogative. Just some basic questions to kind of help people who are hoping to apply for the Chevening Scholarship. So the first question is...
Okay, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today, and I hope this will be beneficial for the Chevening applicants.
Thank you, I'm sure it will be. So the first question is, how did you find your overall Chevening experience?
Wow, that's a good question. We always say that it's a once in a lifetime experience. So you gain experience for you personally and for you in your field, in your study skills, in all aspects. It's not related to just the professional life. It's related to you personally, because when Lamia has the scholarship, and after winning the scholarship, Lamia before and after isn't the same person.
Good point.
So the traveling experience itself, being in a work environment or study environment with different nationalities and different people from other backgrounds and other who have other perspectives other than you.
Mm-hmm.
So you will acquire multiple skills like respecting others,
Yeah.
respecting their religions, respecting their concepts, respect their difference from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also depend on yourself. You learn how to cook, you learn how to live, and depending on your own. You don't need your mother to cook for you or to wake up you
Yeah.
and to set the alarm for you, and you don't need anyone to make anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
You are depending only on yourself.
It's true.
This for you as a person. You also know other cultures. You know about the UK culture, UK's culture.
Mm-hmm.
You visit several places in the UK itself. You visit London, you visit Edinburgh, you visit Leeds.
Right.
My city.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And you know how the culture of the UK constituted all along the history, and you know about Indonesia, Malaysia, and you know about Asia, you know about Africa, you know about
South
other continents.
America. Yeah.
Not alone. There are a lot of people in the world. It's not just about Mozambique or not just about Egypt. The homesickness experience, the homesickness challenge. Some students when they leave their home country
Mm-hmm.
for the first time, maybe, or maybe the second time, they face the homesickness challenge
Right.
and this depression challenge also, because in the UK you don't have a lot of this warm
Yeah,
feeling in
sunshine.
the sun. Yeah, especially for us, like from Africa and the Middle East, we have this feeling of the sun and this warm feeling. Because of that, you may face the challenge of homesickness and being away from your home, being away from your family, and being missing your family. So you are adapting techniques, and you can read books, you can take courses to fight this problem and to tackle this challenge. And with time you can be able to face it, and you can adapt to the environment. You can adapt to your new place, your new home, because it's a home for like 1 year. So
Exactly.
you have to adapt with it. This for the personal experience, the
Mm-hmm.
traveling and being away from home. Okay, for the study side, you will learn a new way of learning, a new way of study. You are depending on yourself only. You cannot depend on your tutor, you cannot depend on your instructor or your mentor. They just guide you, and you have all what to do by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You will do assignments every week. We have assignment, we have a lot of deadlines, we have a lot of assignments. So you have to manage your time well. You have to divide the tasks that you have in your study. You have to finish your readings before going to the lecture room and before going to make your assignments. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to manage your time well. So you are
Absolutely.
learning time management skills. You are learning how to study in a smart way.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way you study, not the time you spend to study.
Yeah.
And for us, like from Egypt to Mozambique and all the similar countries, we have another style of studying, like reading a lot of books, and like we don't have a lot of assignments, and we don't have research and
Mm.
doing your own research, reading a lot of papers. We don't have this a lot in our countries.
Right.
So we in the UK, it differs a lot. You go to the library, you meet your tutor and your colleagues in seminars. you can discuss a lot of topics in the seminar room and a lot of topics in the lecture room. The lecture room is for discussing what you already have read.
Right.
So yeah, you have to be prepared well. So it's once in a life experience, once in a lifetime experience. It's really different from the way that we already we were used to.
Wow. I mean, it sounds really, really transformative. And I mean, I could just leave the interview there. I feel like you've managed to sell the Chevening Scholarship for anyone who's on the fence of whether to apply or not. I feel like you've just convinced everyone. But I do have a couple more questions. So the next question is, why did you choose the University of Leeds?
Because the University of Leeds was number one of the 10 top universities in the field of environment.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
studied environment and development, so University of Leeds is like the number one or third rank in the world universities specialized in environmental science.
Okay.
And the course that I was looking for was about mixing between the environmental science with development studies.
Right.
So University of Leeds was so characterized in this, was so unique in the modules itself, the modules of the program, and the repetition of the instructors and the mentors at university. You have your personal mentor. You have a lot of staff members that have they published a lot of scientific
Right.
papers in the field. They have this number of publishing. They have
Oh, okay.
I can't remember this number of reference number to
Okay.
publish a paper, but yes, index or something
Okay.
like index, some number for index, like when you refer to their paper, they have a big number of this number of index.
Wow. That's so
Yeah, and
impressive.
the repetition, and the student satisfaction when I was searching about the ranking of this University of Leeds, I found that they have a good percentage of student satisfaction, because they really care about us. They really care about the matter of the student. If he or she is good, he is she is like being she finds the study itself um,
Like
like
manageable and,
manageable and not hard or harsh for them to study,
okay.
and how they treat the students, like the staff of the university,
Right.
and the social aspect also. So the high percentage of student satisfaction. So it depends a lot of factors. Uh, we also look for the geographical location of the university,
Right.
because the Leeds city is of paramount importance. It is located in some distinguished place in the UK. It's not high in prices or cost like
Right.
London city,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it's a very very beautiful city. It's
Okay.
amazing. They have a lot of historical places. They have a lot of lakes. They have a lot of
Yeah.
amusement parks, a lot of gardens, a lot of
Wow.
a lot of activities there. So geographical location, satisfaction of students,
Right.
the repetition, and the high ranking in the QS World ranking
Yeah.
system,
Absolutely.
and yeah, and the alumni. When you look for the alumni of the university, you find a lot of distinguished, and a lot of alumni did amazing work after graduation from the university.
Wow. I mean, I'm just thinking I really should be like researching universities a bit more thoroughly because I know that you did your master's degree in the academic year 2019-2020, and I was
Yes.
also in the UK on an exchange program in that same academic year, but I was in London. And it's so important, like you said, to like pay attention to student satisfaction because of course that was the year of COVID halfway through the academic year. And I mean, I guess that was like the optimum time where you could actually see if your university actually cared about its students. Um, I can say the University College London, they were amazing. They were keeping us informed. They were really
Yeah.
like, their communication was very, very impressive.
Yes.
And so I guess just a follow-up question would be, were you impressed with the way the University of Leeds handled the COVID situation?
Yeah, there were a lot of communications, like you said, in the UCL. So it's the same in at the University of Leeds. They will care about our health, our safety, because your safety is their first priority.
Mm-hmm.
They really want you to be safe. They were sending us a lot of instructions, and we were when we were studying our courses, we had the option to even continue in the offline on campus study,
Yeah,
or you can go back to your home country and you can do your study online.
I
So you have the
see.
option. They were not forcing us. I saw other students, my colleagues from
Mm-hmm.
other universities in the UK in the
Mm-hmm.
same year, and their universities forced them to go to the campus, and other universities forced them to continue the online study while in the UK. They didn't allow them to go back to their home countries.
I
So
see.
university was the staff were like flexible.
Mm.
They gave us the option. They gave us the all the to be free to take your decisions,
Yeah.
but your safety is number one for them.
Wow. I'm like, I have like a whole new perception of the University of Leeds now and so much more respect for them. That's so, so nice to hear.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me also, not just about the COVID-19, because I had like illness circumstances while I was studying. So
Right.
they have the option for mitigating circumstances. It's an option to extend your study like
Oh,
2 weeks after the deadline to submit your assignment after the deadline. So you have 2 weeks of mitigating circumstances, but after you prove this with the medical
right.
papers.
I see. Wow, so accommodating.
Yes,
Um, and then I
it's
also
a
wanted to ask,
satisfaction, student satisfaction.
for sure, I think everyone watching is gonna, start paying more attention to student satisfaction henceforth. Um, and then I
And you
also
have a mentor other than the personal tutor. You have both of them.
really too,
This is for
like a mentor.
academic guidance, and this is for personal guidance.
Oh my goodness, no way. That's so cool. I've never heard of that before. And I was like
Yeah, and
really impressed. At UCL, we had a personal tutor, and I was like so impressed with that. But to have two different like professional and personal
okay,
supervisors
let
is
me
next
make
level.
you more impressed. Okay, let me tell you about something.
Please
When I
do.
had this homesickness challenge at the
Yeah.
beginning, I went to the school staff who was responsible for the social aspect, and I told them that I have a homesickness problem, and
Right.
they like transfer me to another counselor.
No way. Like off campus, like not
Yes,
related to this. Wow.
no, it wasn't the campus. It was related to the center of student center.
Okay. But it's
They
still
had
so
a
nice to hear that they have
yeah,
these
it's
like
fun.
facilities.
Yes, yes. They have a lot of facilities that makes student satisfaction is very good.
Yeah, you made a good choice. It sounds like you made an excellent choice for I imagine this was also your first choice for
Yes, it was my
yeah.
first choice.
Wow,
Yes,
congratulations.
thank you.
And then I also wanted to ask, how can we prepare for the Chevening Scholarship?
Okay. Yeah, I made some notes
You
to
did?
talk
Oh,
about.
great.
Okay. To prepare for your scholarship, you have to be three things before before you prepare your essays and your whole application. You have to be honest, because
Okay.
everything you write will be searched after that.
Okay.
You will know if you are honest or you are lying about them.
Right.
So you have to be honest, especially that you will see them in the interview stage if you made it to proceed to the interview stage. So they will
Absolutely.
know every detail about you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be honest, number one. Number two, you have to be authentic. You
Okay.
don't write anything unless you did this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't write anything that you didn't do before, because I see some people write false information about them to make the panel be impressed about
Yeah.
how they achieved this, and to be like unique from other colleagues or
Mm-hmm.
other applicants. So be authentic. And number three, don't overestimate yourself, and also don't underestimate yourself.
Okay.
Um, don't write. Don't be um, depressed or overwhelmed that you don't have all the skills that made you a good fit for the scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
because you already made a lot of achievements. You made a lot of things that you make that make you a good fit for the scholarship.
Okay.
And also don't overestimate your skills and your background and your experience. Don't talk about it like it's the most powerful thing. It can't be defeated, or the I am the biggest I'm the biggest achiever in this world. So it's not like that. You have to be balanced in this
Right.
application. So these three things that you have to do before
Mm-hmm.
you prepare yourself. This three advice, three tips, 3 points of advice for you or for any applicants to be prepared for the scholarship. For the scholarship itself, you
Mm-hmm.
have to focus on the 4 essays. We have 4 essays: leadership, networking, why study in the UK, and number 4 is about career plan or career future plan. When we talk about the essays, it's the most important part for your Chevening application, because you have a chance or an opportunity through these 4 essays to express yourself, to talk about yourself freely without any interruption, without anyone that tell you you
Mm-hmm.
have to write this or to write this. You have your own voice.
Right.
So these 4 essays, the leadership, networking, why study in the UK, and your career plans, are really important, and their importance comes from that it is the window that the panel member, when they read all the applications from all the world,
Mm-hmm.
from every place in the world, to be detailed. So this is the window that they look for you, or
Right.
look at. So this, how can they know you? What did you achieve in your life, and how was your journey until this moment?
Right.
So I will tell you some points to tips for writing successful successful
Please do.
essays.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to write your own story. You have to make the 4 essays
Mm-hmm.
be consistent. You have to make this like integrating themselves. The 4 essays like a story from at the beginning, from the leadership essay
Mm-hmm.
till the last point at the fourth essay, that is the career plan essay. So
Okay.
you have to, make it like a story, that you have to make it interesting,
Right.
because you don't want someone from the panel that read the first part and then say it is boring, or I can't read it till the end. So you
Yeah.
have to make it like a very interesting thing to read. You have to have your voice in your words,
Okay.
like in between words. You have to write your unique character.
Okay.
Like no cliches, and no don't use like quotes.
Okay.
We usually hear these quotes. We usually hear this cliche. So depend on yourself to write authentic thing.
Right.
That's don't repeating other quotes or other sentences.
Okay.
And also you have to write with coherence.
Okay.
Like this part is not separate from other part. They are integrating with each other. They are consistent. We don't write about like environment in the first topic or the first essay, and the end you write about health.
Right.
So what is going on here? What is it? So you have to be focused on your field, on your own field.
Okay.
That like Aya, when I wrote about my essays, I wrote about the examples that the achievements, examples for achievements, or something initiatives that I did in the field of environment and development.
Okay.
My whole 4 essays were about environment and development field.
Wow. Okay.
When you write about like an activity or volunteering activity that you did, not in the field of your program or your interest, it's okay. You can write about it just to show them your leadership skill here, or how did you find this situation challengeable, and how did you solve the problem there. So you can write it, but look at the big picture.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So also be away from the plagiarism softwares, because when you enter I heard from someone in the panel that when you put or you submit your assignment, when you submit your application or essay in the software for detecting the plagiarism, you
Yes.
have a percentage of plagiarism
Right.
in your own in your own essay.
Wow.
It is it will have some percentage in the panel, with the panel of the Chevening Scholarship.
That's serious. Wow.
Yeah. So, you have to read your your essays well, and you have to proofread them depending on yourself, not depending on softwares or another person. You have to
Right.
make a lot of research and a lot of proofreading
I see.
regarding this process. So for the layout of the 4 essays, we will divide the word account. So we have the 500 word account for each essay.
Each essay, yeah.
You can write less than the 500 word count. You can write 400. But my advice to utilize this word count it is working for yourself. It will show you at the end. You have to utilize this to show your abilities, to show your skills.
I agree.
So for the layout itself, my personal advice, and that's what I did for myself, that you divide the 500 word account to 100 for the introduction part. This is for the layout, and 300 for the body part.
Okay.
That comes after the introduction, and finally and eventually the last part, the conclusion part, of 100 for this part also.
Okay.
So 100 introduction and conclusion, and the body 300 word count.
Yeah, that seems
The
logical.
body, yeah, it's the most appropriate, I think, for writing an essay, and it worked for me, for myself.
For you.
Worked
We'll
for
take
me.
it.
So when okay, when we look at the approach to write the two examples in the body part, because you write the introduction, you write an introduction to the essay itself. Like when you talk about leadership, you define, and at the introduction part, you define what is the leadership for you, not in cliches, as I mentioned before, but in your own perspective.
Right.
How you showcase the leadership skills in all your life stages, or in all your situations that you faced before. So you define the leadership, and then in the body you write two examples for leadership.
Wow.
You show them how your leadership was. And we can depend on the STAR approach. If you know the STAR approach,
Yes.
STAR approach stands for, S for situation. I will be detailed in this because it is very important to write your example, because you will depend on this approach in writing each example in the leadership and networking essays. So the STAR approach: S for situation, T for task, A for action, R for results.
Right.
Okay. So for situation, write where is your place where this happened. When you talk about this example, you talk about, like, I joined X activity. You talk about the situation of the X activity. What is the X activity? Where is the place? The background of this place, the background of the position of the rule. You define the position or the rule in this situation, and what is the situation itself. For T, task, your responsibilities and challenges faced in this place. When you join this place, you find you usually face problems, or you face challenges. So you talk about these challenges that you face, and when you speak about this, you speak in the I voice, not the we voice.
Right.
Because you are talking about about yourself, not the group or not the team.
Okay.
So you are a leader in this place. So talk about yourself, not the responsibilities of the team. Talk about your own responsibilities in this role, or in this position. And the action, A for action. How did you deal with this problem? What was your vision or your strategy to face this challenge? It may not be a challenge. It may be like a strategy that you build up in this place, or a vision that you had when you were in this situation. So you talk about your vision, strategy in the action part.
Okay.
And at the end, you talk about the results, your output, the like stats. You talk about this in stats or numbers, statistics or numbers, percentages. You achieved your targets. There were predetermined targets that you already achieved at the end of this situation. You learned a new skill. You had tangible results. You had a new scheme that you wrote for this place. You made like a rule for the place that facilitated the work for all the team.
Okay.
When you were a leader.
Wow.
So this was the STAR approach. You can depend. You can depend, or you can adopt this approach to write the leadership and the networking examples. The two examples in the body part.
Okay.
And in conclusion, you can can relate what you wrote in the body and the introduction with your program and your milestone, future milestone, and how you relate your leadership skills before with your future leadership experience that you will acquire during your study in the UK.
Right.
And that is the same for the networking. How you relate your networking skills with the networking that you acquired during study, like when you are involved in alumni network, the
Right.
Chevening alumni network, or the network of your university's alumni. So you will know new people, you will know colleagues from different places, so you will relate this to your conclusion part in the networking and leadership essays. Okay.
Wow.
Is this good till
Yeah.
now?
I'm like, I wouldn't even think that there would
I
be
hope.
like such a good format to all these essays. I know a lot of people
Okay.
struggle, especially
So
with
you have to focus well while
Mhm.
writing.
Absolutely. I know a lot of people struggle with the
Yeah.
networking essay. So it's good to know that, there is hope and there's a clear strategy as to how somebody can like navigate this essay. And I think that ties so nicely into the next question, which is what kind of events are you attending as a Chevening scholar? Because we hear so much about all of these events that you have to attend, but we don't know what exactly, are these events.
Okay. Um, I will just I want to add something in the essay part
Oh,
before
yes,
we
please.
can we can turn to the new question.
Yes, please.
For the networking essay, you have to show that it is win-win situation.
Okay.
You cannot write about that you received something without adding something to your society or your community.
Mm,
This is for the networking. And for the last essay about the career future plan, you have
yes.
to relate this. This is my advice.
Okay.
You can relate this to the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals,
Wow, that is
SDGs.
smart. That is so, so smart. Yeah, I see your
Yeah,
vision. Okay.
I think this will make you unique. That you are a leader that has a vision that is related to your community and your country. Not just your country, it is the whole world that are
Sure.
focusing now on the SDGs.
Yeah.
Just this was my advice for the essays part. Okay, for your question about
The Chevening event.
would yeah, the chevening events that you attend in the UK when you travel to the UK, we have two events at the beginning when we go to the UK in London.
Okay.
So whether you are out of the region of London, the central region at the UK, for me I was in Leeds, so I
Yes.
had to travel to London city to
Okay.
attend the chevening events.
Okay.
So whether your place, you have to attend these two events in the London city. One at the beginning, it's welcoming event
Okay.
when we travel to the UK at the beginning, and another one is farewell when we finish our
Right.
study, submit our dissertations. So we meet again at the
Yeah.
end of our study period, and before we leave the UK to our home countries, we should because it's obligatory.
Yes, to
You should.
return back home for 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no excuse to be absent from this events.
Right.
Uh, this was these were the obligatory events that we have to attend. Other events that you can attend in the UK while your study period, you can volunteer with
Okay.
the student union. I was a volunteer with the LUU. It
Okay.
is Leeds University Union. It was
Okay.
a student university union, and I was a volunteer in the activities responsible for like beach cleanups and
Mm.
awareness campaigns and making research for the environment.
Yeah, I was just
So
gonna say. So like beach cleanups is so in line with like environmentalist stuff and like your whole career path. Everything aligns.
Yeah. I really like these activities, and I was also the student representative for my program.
Wow.
During my study, you can be your course representative, and you can attend the university or staff meetings at the university to
Mhm.
have your voice heard in the meetings of the university staff. And also, you can attend extracurricular activities, not with the student union. You can visit historical places with your colleagues. You can make field visits,
Okay.
and we at University of Leeds, for my program, we made a lot of study visits. We made a field visit to Humberside
Okay.
place. Is like a place uh, in the mountains when we made hiking, and we
Oh.
made a lot of activities to study this city because it's a sustainable city
Hmm.
away from the center of the town or the city. It is a village.
Okay.
So when you join your program, you can find a lot of activities like
Mhm.
field visits, volunteering activities, conferences. There was a simulation activity simulating the COP experience.
Really?
You know about
Oh,
the COP conferences?
yeah.
The COP is like conference of parties for in the environmental field. So we
Yeah.
had like simulation for the COP
Mm-hmm.
at the university. You have a lot of activities. It's not related just to your field. It's about other fields also, like reading activity, hiking activity,
Mm-hmm.
field visits, historical places visits. So you have a lot of activities there.
Wow.
It's not about just study. You can visit the Manchester stadium. You can visit a lot of.
A lot of
It's
different,
not
yeah.
about just study.
Wow. Okay, I think we're all sold by this point. And then my final question, which honestly seems a bit redundant now because you've, given us really valuable advice throughout this entire call. But my final question would be, what advice do you have to anyone thinking about applying for the Chevening Scholarship?
Um, it's a good question. You have to be prepared well,
Mm.
preparing your documents, preparing your language, because if you are not good in English, you have to be good in English, but not just this perfect. You don't need to be perfect, or don't need to be native in language,
Mhm.
but just to be understandable when you
Right.
read, when you listen, when you speak. Other people have to should or have to understand you when you talk. Your
Mm.
English don't doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to gain this score for the IELTS or the
Yeah,
TOEFL, the
that's true.
required score for the entry requirements of the course. You have to read the entry requirements for each course and to be prepared with your documents, what it is needed for this program. And if you don't have like graduation certificate, you have to go to the university to have your certificate with you.
True.
You have to book for the IELTS exam.
Mm. Have to be really
You have to,
organized.
yeah, you have to save some money for
That's
booking
so
this
true.
exam.
Yes,
Yeah,
because IELTS
you
tests are
have,
not cheap. I know that firsthand.
yeah. You can also save your time to study for
Hmm.
the language
That's true.
test. So you have to manage your time well in this period while you are you're submitting your application for the universities and for the scholarship. You have to make your research about the universities and the ranking, to read
Yes.
about the QS World ranking system, and to know the ranking for each university that you are interested in. And the program itself, you have to read the modules, what modules are really important for you for your future career plans. These modules should be beneficial for your after graduation professional life. So you have to relate this to this. And also you have to like divide your or distribute your options for universities. For that, you have 3 options to choose 3 universities or 3 courses. Don't choose the 3 of them of high ranking. The best be it is best to have like high ranking and the medium or not medium or the moderate ranking. And the last one is
Quite
not
easy to
the
get
low
into.
ranking, but it's high ranking one. So you have to do your research well, because this will make a difference in your application to have a successful application.
So true.
And also, and also you have to read about the alumni of the field that you are interested in. You have to read about them. What did they do? And you have to make your research about them, their achievements, their CV. If you have the opportunity or the chance to look at their social media or LinkedIn profile, it's good for you to know about them. How did they get this Chevening application? What did they do to get this application for this scholarship?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was so informative, and I'm sure I'm speaking, on behalf of so many people. Yeah, there's really not much, can add to that, and I'm so grateful to you that you've come and you've been so gracious with your time today. And
My
yeah,
pleasure.
to everyone watching, Aya's like her social media links, her LinkedIn, her Instagram, etc. They're all going to be in the description box if you'd like to contact her directly. And yeah, this was really, really,
Yeah,
really,
I
really
will have
nice.
the pleasure if they contact me through my social media links. And if anyone has a question, don't hesitate to contact me or to be in contact with me. Thank you, Lamia. It was my pleasure to be with you today. Thank you. It was so good to be with you.
Thank you.